got to be the Rittenhouse thing, man.
That's
it got to be the Rittenhouse thing, man. We got to touch on that if we don't touch on nothing else tonight.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like when I saw that when I saw that, you know, those not guilty verdicts being read, I actually expected it, but on the inside, man, I cried on the inside, like, because it just goes to show the level of, and you know, like I said, it's not a racist thing or anything like that, but it's, you know, truth is truth, and it just shows the level of white privilege in this country. Because picture Rittenhouse, last name being Johnson, right? You know, not, you know what I'm saying, a black man or something like that. You know what I mean? That would have never, that trial would have never went like that. Not in a million years. Not in a million years, man. And another thing that it kind of has me a little bit apprehensive now, because they have just set a precedent for people to go across state lines with all of the ammunition and artillery or whatever that they want, go to a protest and claim that they're threatened. Like, oh, I'm walking in with my gun, but I'm threatened. I'm the one that's threatened, so I get to open fire on whoever got something to say. That's gonna be really bad, man. That's a bad look. That's a bad look for our country, man.
Yeah,
I look for America,
actually, Knight, I have to agree with you. I was hoping, we touched on it last week. I was hoping that they would have found him guilty of something. I thought they would come up with murder 3. I knew they were going to do murder 1, but I thought they would get him for manslaughter. Just to
they
say,
didn't even get him for taking the gun across state lines. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro.
And it almost seemed like him dropping the judge before the jury went to deliberate, dropping the gun charge was setting the groundwork for him to be, found not guilty and everything. Because at least you could have got him on a gun charge. Now, he did say, correct me if I'm wrong, the judge said the reason the reason that he got dropped the gun charge was that he indicated, or he thought that the AR-57 can be looked at as a long gun, AR-15. Which is almost, I mean, this I thought that I heard that's what he said, because like a long gun, there are technicalities in place where if you have a long gun, it's almost like a hunting rifle. They're a little more allowed. So if in that state it can be classified as a long gun, then young people can have them.
But Stacey, I got one of those, right? Well, it's a different name. I got a High Point, right? 40 cal. If I go out in the streets right now, and people gonna be looking at me like I'm crazy, right?
Absolutely.
And then somebody come up to me and try to either ask me a question or disarm me or whatever, and I shoot them. Am I going to jail?
Probably so. I know. I agree with you. I agree with you. I like I said, I really, when they dropped the gun charge, that was unnerving. Guy, what's your thoughts, man?
I wasn't surprised. It didn't take me aback. I expected it. This is America, bro. This is America. To expect anything else, I think we're fooling ourselves. We're doing ourselves a disservice. I think it's harmful for us to think that America is going to do the right thing in certain situations like that. So I wasn't surprised. It's what I expected. The judge was racist. There were 11 white jury members, 1 black. This kid, he threw out them fucking crocodile boo-hoo tears like he was having a conniption or some shit. I think the world knew he was going to get off. But then, you got to look on the flip too. Like, one of them dudes that he murdered was, I believe, had 11 sexual assault charges levied against him or something to that effect. So
yeah, somebody said that.
It's justice.
But that's besides the point.
See, but but we can't see. And on this note, though, I agree with Terry. I think that that what we're doing is open the door for vigilantism, and that's what we don't want.
The door been open for that.
I mean,
What happened in that trial is nothing new that hasn't happened in America before. As far as the long gun situation, yeah, I think in a lot of municipalities or jurisdictions, the long gun rule goes down to age 16, some places age 14. So, and when we saw that happen, we already knew. I mean, you heard some of the sidebars the judge had. You heard some of his commentary while the jury wasn't around, or in preparation for the case and throughout the case. You knew this guy was a racist. You knew that the instructions that he was giving the jury were going to be more in support of the defendant than of the state. So I wasn't surprised. I knew. I didn't know. I can't say I knew, but I was prepared for that verdict. I expected that verdict. Had something different happen, I would say, oh shit, America might be turning the corner. America ain't turning the corner. We where we've been at. And
See, that's the whole thing with what I keep screaming, man. Things ain't gonna never change. We've been doing the same shit for too long. Protesting that, marching for that, that's not going to solve anything, man. That's not solving one thing.
I don't agree with you on that.
The only way, I said the only way that the only way that we're going to have change is if we get the people in office who can change these laws, who can like they won't even change the lynching. They won't even pass the lynching bill, bro. Like, if they won't do something as simple as that, and keep this in mind, Democrats are in office. I mean, Democrats are running the government right now. Right. And if we can't get Democrats to pass a lynching bill, they pass the Asian pass the Asian hate bill.
See now, I agree with you 100%, Terry. The way that we make change. Now, I disagree with the marching part. Let me just say that. But the only way, unfortunately, the Democrats are in charge at the federal level. Unfortunately, a lot of these laws that are passed, especially gun laws, are at the state level, and a lot of those laws, a lot of those state houses are run by Republicans. Unfortunately,
but the same thing, Stace. The same thing. We see. Only thing that we vote in the presidential
right election,
absolutely
right? Absolutely,
but we have to put people in office locally. our people correct in office locally.
Well, that's why they say that all elections are local, but unfortunately, they don't have the glitz and glamour like the federal election, like the presidential and the Congress election. So we don't come out. Agree. I agree with you.
You need this is how it happens. Party is what we need. To be honest, to be honest, I mean, if those crazy ass people with the QAnon and all that can put people in office, why can't normal people?
Well, actually, we don't need our own party because we know that when we show up, we win. But the problem is, like you said, we don't show up. So if you have your own party, you're still not going to get it if you don't show up. The problem is we don't participate at the levels that we should enough. That's the issue. When we do, we win. Right. That's proven. That's proven. I mean, and fortunately, I'll say there are enough people that have that view things the same way that we do, so that we can win. Because even if we're still only 13% of the country. So to branch off and say that this party is only for black folk, then no. And then you take your 13% with you. If someone hears that and say, well, I'm not black, I can't go. You're not going anywhere then, because you only say a black 13%.
Political party. I said another political party. I know there's there's as many white people who feel
absolutely
like the system has to change.
That's right. Agree.
As me, but
agree.
There's a big but in there, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because our people have to come together with themselves before we can really have anybody else come together with us or representing us or anything like that. We got to get it. I hear it all. We got to get our own house in order.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? What you think, guy?
Right.
As far as our own political party,
Just about everything.
Like all of it, man. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I think, and I know we're going to leap into this topic in a little while, which is unity. As long as you have individuals, I think it's nearly impossible for every person in a specific group to unify behind a single cause, because you're dealing with human beings and we're all different and we all got different ways of thinking, different ideas. But as far as it goes with the case and the young fella that walked away from facing these charges, he's white, bro, and he's got privilege in America. No matter how you may think of it, you are exactly right. If that was a black man who had traveled across state lines, got his mom to drive him over there, and he was a minor, and he murdered 2 people and maimed a third, he would be under the jail. They would have roofed him. We know that. Right. But I do, like I said, have to disagree with you, TL, on the point where you said marching don't do nothing, and that type of organizing doesn't do anything. I have to disagree with you. I think it does do something. If anything, at the very least, it brings awareness to a thing. There's a Thurgood Marshall, God rest his soul, the Honorable Thurgood Marshall, stated, "When you see injustice, point it out, do something about it." Right? Quote from Thurgood Marshall, from our Supreme Court. I believe he was the first Black Supreme Court judge in the United States. And so to say what you're saying almost says that man is wrong, that we don't have to point out what's not right or what's not fair or what's not just. We have to point out what's not
point out.
Just.
You misinterpreted my statement, though.
Going out to protest, to stand up for what you believe is right, to ensure that when something isn't right with that you see and you witness, that you do point it out so that it doesn't happen the next time. So that person that committed that aggression against somebody else is not able to do that again in the future. So I think it's extremely important that we do stand up and we do show solidarity on that front, regardless if we don't believe that we see immediate change or immediate progress. I think at the very least, we still have to point it out. And part of pointing it out is going out on the streets, standing out there, telling people, screaming from the rooftops, getting on your soapbox, doing whatever you need to do and being vocal about it and pointing it out.
Right. I do agree with that. When I say that it's the time for marching and protest is over, what I mean is we've been marching and protesting the whole 1900s, 2000s, all that, right? We have been marching and protesting for years and years and years and years. So they know what the problem is. They know that there's a problem. So if marching and protesting was effective, then the first 100 times that we did it, we would have gotten. But
I think.
Let me finish. All right.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I think what the part that we disagree, I think, and we touched on it one time before, the progress that we made, a part of the attention came to those issues as a result of marching. Now,
it had its time and place.
So okay, but then if that's the case, then you could even talk about Trayvon Martin, all of the more recent shootings, there were protests, and that's how Black Lives Matter formed. And as a result of those things, now you do have some even listen to this part. As a result of Black Lives Matter and some of the more recent shootings, you have jurisdictions talking about reforming the police as a direct result of those marches. Therefore, if you extrapolate on that, we believe that the marching, the protesting is still relevant. The time is not over for that. That's the part that we disagree with.
But my thing is, if remember when Trayvon Martin was killed, and that was like one of the biggest marches ever.
Right. Absolutely.
It was a big one, right?
Yeah.
Didn't change a thing. Because if it did, then you wouldn't have George Floyd. You wouldn't have Ahmaud Arbery. You wouldn't have Breonna Taylor. What I'm trying to say is, I'm not saying to stop bringing attention. But what I'm just trying to say is marching and protesting is not going to change our
But-
problems.